Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharini, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi, Pasyatya Desatarini. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatsodhyam Mudire.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we will begin the 18th chapter of first canto. Anyone remembers what was the question asked by the sages about Maharaj Parikshit? What question was asked by sages on Maharaj Parikshit? Yes, Ramya, बताइए.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the sages asked that why Parikshit Maharaj just punished Kali, didn't kill him.
No, that is done. No, originally the question which was asked, that was explained, that we discussed. So now, two aspects of Maharaj Parikshit has been discussed. His birth was discussed in detail and his activity has been discussed in detail. Initially, the sages wanted to know about the birth activities and also the renunciation of Maharaj Parikshit. How he gave up the entire kingdom and what led him to come to this renounced condition of life. So that aspect was remaining, and here it is expressed in the 18th chapter, which says Maharaj Parikshit cursed by the Brahmana boy. Suta uvacha yo vedronyastaviplusata namatur udare mrita anugrahat bhagavata Krishnasya adbhut karmana. So Sri Sridhar Goswami said that due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, Anugrahat Bhagavata, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. We all know the story. We had read it. The sages of Naimisharanya became struck with wonder after hearing about the wonderful administration of Maharaj Parikshit, especially in reference to his punishing the personality of Kali and making him completely unable to do any harm within his kingdom. Sud Goswami was equally anxious to describe Maharaj Parikshit's wonderful birth and death. And this was stated by Sud Goswami to increase the interest of the sages of Naimisharanya. Brahmakopa utitadyastu takshakat pran viplavat na samumoha urubhayat bhagavati arpit ashaya. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to the snake bird which was to bite him because of Hare Krishna. So we see here that although the Brahmana boy Shringi is cursing, but there is no fear in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit. Why it is so has been explained in this verse. A self-surrender devotee of the Lord is called Narayana Parayana. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. Anyone know this verse? Very beautiful verse. Narayana Parayana. Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Na kutaschana bhibhyati. Manoram Prabhu, you are in the process of joining or you have joined? He is not joined.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Show this verse.
There is some
Narayan.
mismatch.
Show this verse. Narayana Parayana Sarve Na Kutaschana Bhibhyati. This is in relation with Vrita.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, I think there is some issues with Prabhuji's network. Maybe I will share again.
मनोरम प्रभु जी,
Yes, Prabhuji.
अरे
Hare Krishna
तो
Prabhuji.
नारायण नारायण बोले थे ना आप, जो वर्ष निकाले तो वही था क्या?
एक मिनट Prabhuji. No? Narayana Sarve. Okay, I think Prabhuji maybe another one here. Narayana Parayana Sarve, right? Just a minute, Prabhuji. I will check once again.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Connection is again unstable today. Okay, you are able to find the verse, Manoram Prabhu?
Krishna Prabhuji, I am sharing Prabhuji, when maybe it is the verse.
Sorry?
Prabhuji, I am sharing the screen.
I don't know why this internet is again not consistent.
Prabhuji, is this the verse actually, or it starts with Narayana Parayana?
It is in Narayana Parayana Sarve na Kutashchana Bhivyati. Sarga Upavarga Narkeshu.
Correct one. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually I'm trying to trace
Yes.
other verses, other relevant verses are coming Prabhuji, but this one exactly taking time.
Okay, leave it. Leave it. Just wasting time. We will go ahead. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. Heaven and hell, this is exactly the same verse. I'll find out. It is Narayana Ayurvedic scripture for this year. How are you finding more than one verse? Not possible. Prabhupada is giving the full translation. Six 1728.
नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have displayed them.
Okay. Yes, this is the verse. It says Narayana para sarve na kutarshana bhivyati swarga pavargana keshu api tulyat darshana
निते नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषः शून्यः
Devotees solely engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan never fear any condition of life. For them, Swarga, heavenly planets, then Apavarga is liberation, and Narkeshu is the hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. This is basically spoken for Okay, Manoram Prabhu, you can minimize. Okay, Manoram, you can minimize. Okay, Manoram, you can minimize. Okay, Manoram, you can minimize. Hare Krishna. Manoram Prabhu, can you hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You can minimize the screen.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You minimize? Okay, it is. Okay, we'll continue. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, he considers remembrance of Narayan essential. The Narayan Parayana practices constantly. Maharaj Parikshit was such a pure devotee, he was wrongfully cursed by the who was under the influence of this curse to be sent by Narayan. He knew that Narayan, Lord Krishna, had saved him when he was born in the womb of his mother, and that if he were to be killed by a snake bite, it could also take place by the will of the Lord. This is a very important aspect of those who are really surrendered devotee. So in their life there is no anxiety. They never feel any insecurity because they know very well that everything is in the control of Lord Sri Krishna. Maro vi rakho vi jo ichha tohar, nij das prati tua adhikar. The devotee never goes against the will of the Lord. Anything sent by God is a blessing for the devotee. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was neither afraid or not bewildered by such things. That is the sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Utsrijya sarvata sangam vignata ajit samstita vaiyashake jaho shishyo gangayam swam kalevaram. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyas. Here it says, Vaiyasake Jahu Shishyo. Vaiyasake, son of Vyas. Son and also the disciple of Vyas. That is Shukadev Goswami. So, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple of the son of Vyas, Shukadev Goswami. And thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. And at last, he gave up his material body on the banks of the Ganges. The word Ajita is significant here. The personality of Goddess Shri Krishna is known as Ajit or unconquerable. And he is so in every respect. No one can know his actual position. He is unconquerable by knowledge also. We have heard about his dharma or place, eternal Golok Vrindavan. But there are many scholars who interpret his abode, this abode, in different ways. But by the grace of a spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, and to whom the king gave himself up as a most humble disciple, one is able to understand the actual position of the Lord, his eternal abode, and his transcendental paraphernalia in that Dhama or abode. Knowing the transcendental position of the Lord and the transcendental method by which one can approach the transcendental Dham, the king was confident about his ultimate destination. And by knowing this, he could leave everything, even his own body without any difficulty of attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Drishtva Nivartate. One can give up all material attachment when one is able to see the Param or the superior quality of things. From the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the quality of the Lord's energy that is superior to the material energy. And by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, it is quite possible to know everything of the superior energy of the Lord, qualities, paraphernalia, and varieties. Unless thoroughly understands the superior or eternal energy of the Lord, it is not possible to leave the material energy. However, one may theoretically speculate on the true nature of the Absolute. Truth, by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was able to receive the mercy of such a personality as Shukdev Goswami. And thus, he was able to know the actual position of the unconquerable Lord. It is very difficult to find the Lord from the Vedic literature, but it is very easy to know him by the mercy of liberated soul like Shukdev Goswami. So this is talking about the transcendental qualities, that how he was completely unaffected because he was on the high level of Krishna consciousness. Now uttam shlokya vartana jishatam tat kathamritam syat sambramao antokale api smaratam tad padambujam. Very nectarine verse. Now uttam shloke vartana. What was the purpose why he left his kingdom? Left everything for uttam shloke vartana. This was so because who have dedicated their life to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom Vedic hymns sing. Then Jushatam tat kathamritam. Jushatam means to be engaged. Why he left his kingdom and his rule? To be engaged in hearing the Amrit of Krishna Katha. And who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the next line. Smaratam tat padambujam. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymn sings, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconception even at the last moment of their lives. This is Srimad Bhagavatam is giving such a big assurance. Syat sambramo anta kale api. So even at the last phase of his life, he will never be bewildered. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. It is called Ante Narayana Smriti. This perfection of life is possible for one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord.
हरे कृष्ण रविंद्र प्रभु जी।
जी प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण।
हाँ, पांडव प्रेम प्रभु जी का फोन आया था। वो इंटरनेट के डिस्टरबेंस की वजह से ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। थोड़ी देर डिस्कशन करो और उसके बाद वाइंड अप करो करके प्रभु जी ने बोला है।
जी प्रभु जी।
प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा। हरे
देखो,
कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद,
क्या
प्रणाम।
प्रभु? अच्छा, मैं सोच रहा था कि एक बार 1 2 3 श्लोक पढ़ लेते हैं, रीडिंग रीडिंग थोड़ा पढ़ लेते कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा रिवीजन भी कर ले हो जाएगा,
ठीक है
ट्रांसलेशन
प्रभु जी।
करके।
यस प्रभु,
हाँ,
बेटा रे प्रभु जी, यस।
क्या कौन? यस कुबेर प्रभु, आपके पास बुक्स है क्या?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओडिया है।
अच्छा, उड़िया है। चलिए, और किसके और? प्रदीप प्रभु, यू कैन स्टार्ट प्रभु। टेक्स्ट नंबर 1।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I read directly translation? Sota vacha yo vai drauni astra viplasto nama turvadare mrutaha anugrahat bhagavataha krishnasya adbhuta karmanaha. Translation. Sota Goswami said, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, those taken by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. Purport by his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sages of Naimisaranya became struck with wonder after hearing about the wonderful administration of the Maharaj Parikshit, especially in reference to his punishing the personality of Kali and making him completely unable to do any harm within the kingdoms. So the Goswami was equally anxious to describe Maharaj Parikshit's wonderful birth and death, and this verse is stated by Sota Goswami to increase the interest of the sages of Naimisaranya. Hare Krishna.
राम प्रभु, सेकंड वर्स यू कैन रीड।
यस, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। सो मैं भी मिसस्पेल नहीं करते, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम ट्रांसलेशन एंड देन परपट। So translation for 118.2. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. Purport. A self-surrendered devotee of the Lord is called Narayana Parayana. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. He knows well that both heaven and hell are creations of the Lord, and similarly, life and death are different conditions of existence created by the Lord. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, remembrance of Narayana is essential. The Narayana Parayana practices these constantly. Maharaj Parikshit was such a pure devotee. He was wrongfully cursed by an inexperienced son of a Brahmana who was under the influence of Kali. And Maharaj Parikshit took this to be sent by Narayan. He knew that Narayan, Lord Krishna, had saved him when he was born in the womb of his mother. And if he were to be killed by a snake bite, it would also take place by the will of the Lord. The devotee never goes against the will of the Lord, anything sent by God is a blessing for the devotee. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was neither afraid of nor bewildered by such things. That is the sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Thank you.
Ravindra Prabhuji, you can read the third verse, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 3, translation. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead, purported by his divine grace, as Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The word Ajita is significant here. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is known as Ajita or unconquerable, and he is so in every respect. No one can know his actual position. He is unconquerable by knowledge also. We have heard about his Dhama or place, eternal Golok Vrindavan, but there are many scholars who interpret this abode in different ways. But by the grace of a spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, unto whom the king gave himself up as a most humble disciple, one is able to understand the actual position of the Lord, his eternal abode, and his transcendental paraphernalia in that Dhamo or abode. Knowing the transcendental position of the Lord and the transcendental method by which one can approach the transcendental Dhamo, the king was confident about his ultimate destination. And by knowing this, he could leave aside everything material, even his own body, without any difficulty of attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Drashtva Nivartante. One can give up all connection with material attachment when one is able to see the Param or the superior quality of things. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand the quality of the Lord's energy that is superior to the material quality of energy. And by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, it is quite possible to know everything of the superior energy of the Lord, by which the Lord manifests his eternal name, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, and variegatedness. Unless one thoroughly understands the superior or eternal energy of the Lord, it is not possible to leave the material energy. However, one may theoretically speculate on the true nature of the absolute truth. By the grace of the Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was able to receive the mercy of such personality as Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to know the actual position of the unconquerable Lord. It is very difficult to find the Lord from the Vedic literatures, but it is very easy to know him by the mercy of a liberated devotee like Sukadeva Goswami. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, devotees. So, if anybody want to have any inspiration, one line, two line, just describe that, and after that we'll wind up. Yes, Prabhu. Manan Prabhu, you want to speak?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। ये तो थियोरेटिकली ही बोलूंगा, अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो कुछ है ही नहीं, हार्ट में कुछ है ही नहीं प्रभु जी। बट आई थिंक रिपीट ही करते हैं व्हाट प्रभुपाद हैज सेड कि यहाँ पे परीक्षित महाराज का क्वालिटीज को बता रहा है कि इवन दो he was cursed by an inexperienced Brahmana under the influence of Kali, लेकिन वो खुद उनको दोष नहीं दे रहे थे, वो यही सोच रहे थे because of his own activity and whatever is being sent, either good or bad, it is because the sanction of Narayan or Lord Krishna, तो उन्होंने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया है, जो आई थिंक हम लोगों का इसमें हम लोग बहुत बार भगवान को दोष देते हैं, दोषारोप करते हैं, तो ये क्वालिटी आई थिंक हमें सीखना चाहिए। और आई थिंक लास्ट चैप्टर में भी यही प्रभु जी बता रहे थे, जब डिस्कशन हो रहा था कि बहुत सारे रीजंस होता है, इसमें हम बिविल्डर्ड हो जाते हैं, पता नहीं चलता है कि क्या कारण है, तो लेकिन उसमें डिवोटी को कैसे रिएक्ट करना चाहिए कि ही शुड जस्ट कंसिडर दैट इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ मी, बट व्हाट एवर लॉर्ड कृष्णा हैज गिवन वो एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, एंड ही रादर कंसंट्रेट मोर ऑन remembering the Supreme Lord. And that is what actually Prabhuji also told, that Narayan's Smriti, so always remembering the Supreme Lord. So I think this is what Prabhuji theoretically ऊपर बता रहा हूँ, कोई अंडरस्टैंडिंग का बिना I think this is what Prabhuji has. So,
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So, anybody else want to speak anything? Okay, then we'll wind up here. So thank you, devotees, for joining. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.